Alrighty, guys, I'm Morthadon, bringing you guys Fairy Tail Final Season, episode 279, or I like to consider it the second episode of the final season, because, unfortunately, as you guys already know by now, if you saw the first episode, there is no 1 through 277, because I had already seen it before I started ever doing reactions. But we are starting here because I love this show, and we are going to watch the second episode of the final season to see how they wrap up this entire show. So, a quick apology, because I love to apologize for last video where I was very lazy. Without realizing it, my hair looked terrible because I decided not to shower before, and I think I probably took a nap, or I was working outside or something like that. Whatever it was, my hair looked terrible. When I was editing, I realized how bad it looked. I also think I was too lazy to make my bed in the background, which is something I usually do. And yeah, so it was just a very lazy video, which I probably shouldn't have done for the first video in a series, but you'll find that I'm a very lazy person. So, without further ado, let's talk about the previous episode instead of more personal stuff. So we had a good little introduction to the series again with a little bit of recap. It was a lot of fun. We got to see a little example of Natsu's strength, as well as some future look at the group, which seems like if this is the group, because right now they're trying to put together the guild again. And I'm not sure if the group they're going to come up with is only that group that they showed there, or if there's going to be more. Because what they showed there could be, like, part of the group, the other group's off doing another task. But at the moment, it seems like if they said, like, this is Fairy Tail's final fight, and the group there was Natsu, Happy, Lucy, Urza, Gray, and Juvia. I don't think there was anybody else there, which means this attempt to get Wendy is gonna fail if that's the case, or there's another group of, Fairy Tail back in action somewhere else doing another part, because we know how much Fairy Tail likes to do split battles in all kinds of different locations, so, it easily could be that, but there is a possibility that this attempt to get Wendy back will fail. We left off with the group fighting another guild, which I got a little confused because I missed whether they said Dark Guild or Guild, but while editing I realized it was just a guild. It was I can't remember the name of it now. It started with an O, I believe. It had, like, that snake guy in it, and they had a beast tamer that was controlling, like, I think they said 100,000 guys, and they were all stampeding into the city, and Natsu decided to go after Happy because, I think Happy flew off with Shelia? Is that her name? I believe, because her sister's Sherry. I always want to get them confused. And Natsu wasn't happy about them stealing Happy from them. No pun intended with the Natsu wasn't happy thing. But yeah, so Natsu was just stampeding through the whole line of guys. It was pretty funny. I don't know if we're gonna leave off there, or if they're gonna time skip past that, because it wasn't like a super crazy, like, dangerous fight. It seemed like they did amp it up, saying, like, we can't handle this, but then it's like, but you have Natsu there, and he's just gonna destroy everything. But anyway, I've done enough talking. I just want to get into the episode because I want to see what happens next. And we got all kinds of spooky characters. They flashed on us real quick, and it's gonna be one of those awesome Fairy Tail fights with a bunch of different kind of characters and a bunch of different fights going on at once. And things are bound to get intense because all of our favorite characters are now probably much stronger after all this time. And we're gonna see some badass stuff, I hope, in the coming episodes. Although, I wouldn't be surprised if we did have build-up after build-up after build-up before we actually get to the crazy fights. So it may be a decent amount of episodes before we get there, but I'm looking forward to it nonetheless, and I told myself I would stop talking, and here I am still talking. So let's just get on into it. Nice. Alright, before we get into recap or something... Okay. I'm pretty sure that's like a future episode thing. They're telling us about the next episode. But, so that is the end of episode 279, or the second episode of the final season. It was a fun episode. I really liked it. I definitely liked it. Obviously there were aspects, so the recap with Wendy and Shelia went on a little bit too long, but they did updated animations, so I didn't mind it. I wasn't that bothered by it. I mainly pointed out just because it is kind of fact, like, they didn't have to show the whole fight again. Well, they didn't show the whole fight, but they didn't have to show that much of the fight again. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with it, really. I didn't mind it, you know. And especially because the rest of the episode was really good. The other recap they showed with Acnologia wasn't very long either, so that made up for it a bit. They did some quick flashes. And yeah, so first off, I guess most of the stuff I want to talk about came at the end. Usually when I try to do my discussions, I try to start at the beginning of the episode and work my way through the episode with everything I want to touch base on, but most of the stuff came towards the end, so I'm just going to pick something and roll with it. The first bit is probably the fact that my theory of that beginning shot we saw in the first episode where it showed future them saying this is Fairy Tail's final fight, that was not everybody that they get back. So there is a chance that they'll get every single guild member back. If I'm not, because I don't think Wendy was there. I might be wrong. I might have missed her, but I don't think Wendy was in that small group of people where we saw Urza, we saw Gray, we saw Juvia, we saw Lucy, Natsu, and Happy. I don't remember seeing Wendy, so that means there's probably another group of them off somewhere else doing another fight or something in typical Fairy Tail style. So I talked about it before the episode started a little bit, that it might be... that might be the only people that come back to Fairy Tail, or it might have been multiple groups off, all doing their own thing, for they're all on their own fights and such. And that seems more likely now, since Wendy is with them, and I don't remember seeing her in that first cut, but who knows? Next we're going to Juvia, who we do remember seeing there. We got a little shot of her. She looked very sad, and it seems like are any of these gonna just be like happy-go-lucky? Like, the guild's getting back together, let's go! Or is it just they all just gonna have some sad story? We had Wendy with her. She joined Lamia Scale. She was happy with that guild, but she missed Fairy Tail. She was torn between which one she wanted to stick with, and it brought up a lot of emotions and everything, and now I'm guessing... The thing is Juvia's storyline has always been silly, with some sad spots in between, like some very brief sad spots. So this could be a misdirect where we're not going to get another sad story, but we're just going to get there and she's going to be like, my Gray! Kind of thing, and all that, but who knows? I guess we'll find out in the next episode. But yeah, the other thing I wanted to talk about was the fight between Natsu and Bluenote, which once again is just showing the level of power that Natsu has, which further, well, I guess it wasn't a theory I said out loud, but obviously this is the last season. I don't know how many episodes they planned for the season, because the first season was like 100 and something, the second season was 100 and something. I don't think the final season will be 100 and something, but it seems like they are gonna be going into one of their final fights. Like, the next group of really... Because they've always done, like, the group of bad guys, they beat them. Another group of bad guys, they beat them. Kind of thing. Like, with the Arashion Seis and all of them, like, when they come back as a Neon Arashion Seis. And then, like, Phantom Lord and the Tower of Heaven, all of that had a group of wizards that they fight. And they got stronger after each fight as it went. You know, we got to see the growth of all the characters. But now, I don't think this final season is gonna be about growth. I think it's gonna be about, like, coming together and fighting a, you know, great evil kind of thing. Because we still have Acnologia to deal with. And then all those people that were flashed, I'm not sure who they are, but moving on to that theory, actually, with Agnologia. Now, the way they set this up, it's pretty obvious what they were trying to, like, hint at us. It could be a red herring. It doesn't take too much prediction power to guess this, so I'm not too impressed by this, but I wouldn't be surprised if that guy we saw was Acnologia somehow got back into human form. Because we've seen... a lot of times what animes will do is... I guess live action shows do it too. They show a flashback about someone, and then they pan to someone we haven't seen yet. And that usually means those two are connected somehow. So we saw the flashback about Acnologia, and then we saw, while they're talking about Acnologia, they flash to this guy who we've only seen in the opening, and we might have seen in the first little initial flash of all the bad guys in the first episode. I'm thinking that's probably Acnologia. So, in, like, a human form. That's my thought. It definitely could be someone else. I don't know who else it would be. I don't know who who all these people are gonna be. Like, what their story is gonna be. Because there's Acnologia, we know is a big bad guy. They beat Tartaros, which was, like, the final of the 3 big bad dark guilds. So, who is... And they were demons. So, who is badass enough, besides Acnologia and, Zareth, to go up against Natsu in his current state? He one-shot Bluenote. Like, even... I've been having a hard time remembering his name. We saw his face this episode, and I thought that would help me remember. He's one of my favorite characters, too. The guy that's like a father figure to Natsu. He has the... What was it, like, Crusher magic or whatever he, like, walks into, and he, like, can break up the magic into, like, little cubes or whatever it looks like. Guildarts. There we go. I knew it started with a G. Guildarts. Basically, even Guildarts had a hard time with the fight against Bluenote. It wasn't insane. Like, it wasn't like, oh, Guildarts is, like, near death. Like, Guildarts did do some work against the guy. But I do remember, like, it wasn't a one-shot kind of deal. They clashed for a little bit. So, does that mean Natsu is stronger than Guildarts now? Although Guildarts might have gotten stronger in this time, because we know Guildarts doesn't like to lose. So Guildarts might have been training this whole time. Like, he left before the Tartaros arc to do his own thing. So, what has he been up to? I would love to see him come back in, like, big honcho, full force power and be even stronger than Natsu, because he's always been stronger than Natsu. As much as I'd love to see Natsu surpass Guildarts, there's still a part of me that wants to see Guildarts come back and just smash Natsu into the floor. But yeah, so I'm not sure who these, unless they're more demons from Zareth, which might seem a little repetitive with the whole Tartaros thing. I'm not sure how Zareth's gonna play into this, how all those other people are gonna play into this, and how Acnologia is gonna play into this. But I'm really interested to find out. I'm really digging this final season already. The first two episodes were great. This one was over before I even realized it. Like, I think after Natsu beat Bluenote, or around then, I glanced over at how long the episode was recording for, and I noticed it was like already 15 minutes of the episode had gone by, and I was like, holy crap, it has already been 15 minutes, which is obviously over halfway done the episode, and it was a good episode. I enjoyed it, but I don't think I have much else to say. I gave my theory about Acnologia. I gave my little talk about Juvia and Natsu's overwhelming power. I'm not sure who the bad guys are going to be this time. Mention that. I guess the one thing I didn't touch base on is Lucy. I don't know what she does now. Like, so she summoned Loki, and then she said she redirected some of the power used for summoning Loki to re-equip kind of thing into clothes that were similar to, had Loki's color scheme. And then she did her Regulus Lucy kick now, and that had a little bit of, like, Loki's power in it. So I wonder, A, how strong is that? Because we didn't really have a gauge. Like, I think she just kicked, like, one of the little monsters, right? The ones that, like, Natsu ran right through. So it's hard to tell whether or not she is really strong with that now, because the Lucy kick was always just, like, a silly thing. Like, it amped up, and then she did a little kick, and it was like, okay. But is that actually a hard-hitting ability now? Does she have a different kind of power that she can draw from for each of her spirits that come out? That'd be pretty cool. Like she had her Regulus kick where her foot glowed with a little bit of, like, the golden kind of color. Is she gonna have something else she can do when she has Tauros out, or Aquarius? All of those. And what is that gonna be? What is all her different re-equips gonna look like? What did the re-equip serve? Did it, like, power her up at all, or is it just a fashion statement? Like, because we know Urza's armor that she re-equips into, she has, like, the Fire Lord set, or whatever. Fire Lord Ozai set. No, I'm just kidding. But and it cuts, like, fire damage in half. And then she has Sea Empress. She has all those which help her take less damage from the various elements. And then there's the ones that, like, boost her attack power. Like, we had all that throughout the show that we've learned. And there's other ones that increase her speed and everything. So are they going to do something like that? Or is it just Lucy dressing up because she found out that she can use her ability to not become stronger, but make herself look better while she's in combat. While her celestial spirits do all the work, she can look all pretty. But no, I'm just messing around. Lucy is strong. Obviously, they give the really, really good parts mostly to Natsu, and Lucy gets, like, oh, excuse me. Lucy gets some of, like, the lesser fights, because she was newer to being a wizard. All these people were wizards from being a kid. And she learned her celestial magic, but she never really learned much else, and she never really fought with it. Like, she summoned her spirits in her, bathtub and stuff. So it does make sense that she's not on the level of Natsu and stuff. Plus, Natsu's a damn dragon slayer, and also might be a demon from the Book of Seraph, or whatever that whole thing is with END and all that, so it's not really a fair comparison. Lucy does what she can. She's obviously, I have that outlook where they give a lot of focus to the protagonist of Natsu, where he has that protagonist power of he gets beat down and he roars a little louder and gets up and wins the fight. And that kind of thing, I know it's a cliche, but somehow it still drags me in and it's like engaging to me. I still love it. Even though I know it's an anime trope. But yeah, so I guess I probably rambled on enough about this topic. I think I've touched base on everything that's happened in the episode. You guys who watched the cut version on Vimeo, you'll probably miss my reaction to the flashbacks. I might keep some of it in if I can. But the good thing about flashbacks is it's a great time since we already know, like all of you guys should have seen the older seasons, so you know, and I already know what happens in the flashbacks, so it gives me a great point to cut that out so I can keep more of the rest of the new stuff in. So we'll see if I can keep some of the flashback stuff, because I did react to the fight with Shelia and Wendy, the updated animation. I did comment on that. I'll try to keep that in. But if I do end up coming up to the time that I usually try to keep my videos at for Vimeo when I'm cutting them up, and I need something to remove to make up for the time, it'll probably be flashback stuff first. But thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. And once again, I forgot to mention that the videos release on Mondays, but I guess people will figure it out as it goes. But thank you guys for watching once again, and yeah. See you guys next Monday for episode 280. Fun stuff, guys. And we get to see Juvia. Alright. Bye, guys.